time to pick up that weapon, soldier, because in this video, we're going to be spawning a weapon in our hands. Welcome back. We're in the first-person shooter tutorial series here. My name's Taken Grace. I make Unreal Engine tutorials and videos just like this. If you guys would like to become a better game dev together, make sure you join the community by hitting the subscribe button, liking the video, and we're going to get straight into this. In the previous video, we made the attachment system here, so we'll just get on in this guy. We made our attachment system for our weapons, so you can see that there's nothing there because I haven't simulated the thing yet. There we go. So yeah, we've have attachments on our guns, and we have them predetermined based on whenever we click on them. We can come down here and edit all this stuff, so that was done in the last video. So if you missed that, go check it out. But in this video, we are going to be spawning the weapons in our hands and creating a couple of key variables that we're going to need in our player in order for us to work with our weapons. We are going to do that right now. So let's get into it here. All right, so we need to go inside our player character. We have a bunch of variables to make. A bunch. Well, a bunch of gameplay tags and a bunch of variables. Why don't we start with the gameplay tags just to keep it easy. So we're going to go to Manage Gameplay Tags. And we're going to add some more into movement. And we're going to add some more root ones as well. So the first one is, so we got movement, crouched, and sprinting, which is great. And we have can run, which we'll need. We're going to make a new one called weapon. And the first subtag we're going to do is weapon can fire into the default gameplay tag.ini. Add tag. There it is, can fire. So we're going to add another subtag here, weapon. We're going to add sniper. This is for later, by the way. And weapon, we'll add another subtag, and shotgun. Those two are a little specific because we have to do specific things with them later on. So we'll add that in there now, but we can add that in there in the actual guns later on. Okay, we're gonna add another subtag, can switch. Okay, this will be used to prevent us from switching prematurely on certain things. So like if we're switching weapons, for example, we're gonna need 3 seconds to like fully switch our weapon, and we don't want to be like constantly switching weapons when we're in the middle of a weapon switching animation. So that'll be what that is for. We're gonna make another weapon one dot slot 1. This is gonna tell us if we have our first slot of our weapons filled, so slot 1 being our primary, slot 2 being our secondary. Okay, so we'll make another one here at subtag slot 2. And we will make another one called full, meaning weapon is our weapons. I should actually, can I rename that? I can. Weapon slot full, just so there's no confusion. We are going to make another one called can reload. And we will make another one called reload. The reason we're adding all these in now is because we need to actually do checks before we do certain things. So might as well just do that now instead of later. All right, that should be most of them there. So let's get rid of that. And then let's add some actual variables inside our player character here. So the first one we'll do is primary weapon. And we're going to make this BP underscore weapon class object reference. We'll make another one, and we'll call that secondary weapon. Another one called equipped weapon. These two are self-explanatory. Oh, all three of these are actually self-explanatory. We will make another one called primary weapon to spawn, and that is going to be a weapon class reference. And we're going to make another one called secondary weapon to spawn. We're going to make these instance editable, I believe. Or no, sorry, we're going to not make those instance editable for public. But those should show up in the class defaults. Primary weapon to spawn, primary, yeah. So we want these here just so we can access them easier than when we're going to be putting them into a function later. All right, that is all we need to do for now. We are going to go to our event graph, and we need to go to the event begin play, wherever that is. So we'll just search it up here, event begin play. Oh, we didn't have one. Nice. So we need to do a couple things here first. Obviously, we need to get a reference to our HUD class, because we're going to reference that quite a bit later. So we're going to get actor of class. We're going to get our HUD class, and we're going to promote that to a variable. HUD. Done. We're going to make a function called player defaults. This is going to have, I'm just going to go back to event graph and plug this in before I forget. This is going to have all the defaults in our game that we want our player to have. So let's get a sequence. The first one is going to be getting our or enabling input, because we're going to later on script in that we're going to die. Get player controller. There it is. Okay. So yeah, when we die, we're going to disable our input, and we're also going to disable our collision. So in player defaults, we need to re-enable those. Okay, so we're going to enable the input. Target is going to be self, which is our player, and then player controller is obviously our player controller. Get the capsule component. Where are you? Right here. Capsule component, and we want to set collision enabled to no collision. I'm sorry, we want to do collision enabled. Then we want to, from our capsule component, we want to set simulate physics. My brain is like shutting down, so sorry that was all backwards. Alright, so to recap, when we die, we're going to disable our input. We're going to turn set simulate physics off, and then we're going to enable or set collision enabled to query. So now in the player defaults, we are turning it back on, so we're going to enable our input. You got to first set the collision enabled to enabled before you simulate physics, and that's what we do right here. Okay, after that, we're going to spawn some stuff, like our weapons. So we do need to make some functions, but before that, I think we got to do in gameplay tag, sorry to go back to this, we need to set some basics here. So can fire, we want true, can reload, can switch. Yeah, we want all those to be true by default. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Great. All right, so now that all this is done, we're going to create a new function, and we're going to call it spawn weapon. All right, the first thing we need to do when we spawn our weapon is we need to check to see if our first slot is filled. So we're going to get has tag, exact match. We're going to check if weapon slot 1 is true. And if it is not true, then we're going to fill slot 1. If it is true, we're going to fill slot 2. We're going to copy this and paste it down here, because we don't want to spawn another weapon or do any tomfoolery if slot 2 is also filled. So this one will be a not. Okay, let's do this. I'm just like thinking on the fly here. So full disclaimer that I was using Booleans in my prep project and then learned all about this gameplay tag system, so I'm trying to incorporate it into this tutorial series. So I'm just taking a second to like learn, to like think about it, just to make sure it's not going to bonus later down the line there. Okay, so if we do not have weapon tag slot 1, we're going to go down the true branch and we're going to add gameplay tag. And the gameplay tag we'll add is slot 1, because we are filling this slot the further we go down this line here. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to spawn actor from class, and we're going to plug in our primary weapon to spawn. And you'll see that after we did that, we have all of these meshes that we can select on here. Okay, and I'm actually going to attach these over here, and that's just so that we can see them a bit easier, not being inside this function. And then now that they're attached there, I'm going to actually disconnect all of them and then just drag in scope, get scope mesh, and we want the variable one, and you'll see that it has that F with a little arrow in it, meaning like that's the input from the function. That's new per 5.5. Site, get site mesh. Whoops. Barrel, get barrel mesh, and grip. Get grip. Get a grip! Mesh. Alright, so spawn actor, the spawn transform, we're just going to grab our first person mesh. Get world transform. drag that in there. Super Q. Great, that's it. And once we've spawned the weapon in the world, we're going to obviously want to make it our primary weapon. So we're going to set our primary weapon as this return value. Okay. Next, we want to actually attach it to our hands. So at this point, we're going to want to attach actor to component. And the parent is our first person mesh. Our first person mesh, aka our arms. And then we're going to want, from primary weapon, we're going to want to get our weapon, our gun data, which is the data asset that we made in episode number 2 of this whole thing. From gun data, we want to get our right hand, or our socket. Get bone socket name. Okay, and remember that this was unique to each weapon that we put in there. We are going to be adding these sockets to our first-person mesh's skeleton in this video. So, anyways, location rule, we're going to snap to target and weld them. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to check if our secondary weapon is valid. So we're going to convert this to a validate get. Okay, if it is not valid, that means that we do not have all of our weapon slots full. But if we do, that means, if it is valid, that means we don't have any slots left to spawn weapons into. So we're going to get our gameplay tag. We're going to add, what the hell is that? Add gameplay tag. We want to do, is valid. We want to add weapons full because that means we won't be able to pick up any more slots. Okay. We won't be able to pick up any more weapons because we have no slots. Whatever my brain just said was not the right thing to say. But anyways. Next thing we want to do is we want to get our primary weapon once again, and we want to set can be picked up to false. We don't want people just picking up the weapon out of our hands. All right, after that, we're going to drag it here and get a return node, and then we're going to drag in this, and we're also going to drag in our primary weapon as an output. So we'll just call it spawned weapon. All right, it's that easy. So we need to do that basically exactly the same thing. So we're going to just copy this, paste it down here. That is not what I said. I definitely hit the Control C's. God damn it. Copy the whole thing. Copy, paste. There we go. Okay, I'm going to zoom back here. So we're going to come out of true. We'll plug into add gameplay tag. And we're going to add the gameplay tag of weapon slot 2. We're going to change this to secondary weapon to spawn. These are all going to remain the same. We're still getting our first-person mesh transform. We're going to set the secondary weapon in this case. And then get that gun data and get the bone socket name from that. This is all going to remain the same. This one, we're going to check if the primary weapon is valid. And if it is valid, then our weapon slots are full. And if it's not valid, we're going to change the target to that and get rid of this. Sorry, this is secondary weapon was what we need. Secondary weapon, boom, boom, boom. Just like that, and that is a spawn weapon function, all completed. All right, so let's hit compile. Oh, let's not hit compile. Spawned weapon. This should just be primary weapon. There it is, okay. Change node to... Okay, delete node, I guess, if you're not going to listen to me. Unreals. There we go. Okay, and then it'll do that for secondary. Great. All right, moving on. So we're going to go back to our player defaults, and now in then 1, we're going to drag out of there, and we're going to spawn weapon. And then we're going to get out of then 2, and we're going to spawn weapon. Okay. Comment box spawns primary. And comment box X spawns secondary. There we go. All right. That's all done now. So now we can select from player defaults or class defaults which guns we want. So I'm going to do the AK and the pistol. Okay, the scopes I want on those, you know what, debating. Let's go back into this. Let's actually add inputs for those, just so we can see what we're doing here. So we'll add 2 more inputs. This will be, or sorry, just 1 more input. Weapon to spawn. And we're gonna delete this, and we're gonna make this a BP weapon class reference. Okay, and this is gonna be, we're gonna replace this with the input for there. So we'll do weapon, get weapon to spawn. There we go. Okay, and we'll do that same thing down here. Class weapon to spawn. There we go. Okay, so now when we look at player defaults, we'll have the weapon to spawn down here, and we'll just plug in primary weapon to spawn and secondary weapon to spawn. Right here. Okay, there we go. And so yeah, now we can select what we want on here. So the sight, I'll do the hollow, I'll do the compensator and the grip. And then the pistol, I'll just do the red dot, and that's it. Or actually, I'll do the silencer as well. There we go. All right, so those are our primaries, and we can change those however many oftentimes we like it during this tutorial series. Specifically, because we're going to be working with like the shotgun a lot in the specific parts, and we want to test certain things in the game as we work on them, so we can just change our primary right here, and it won't be a big deal. All right. So we are going to, out of spawn's primary, we're going to drag out of here and set equipped weapon to our assault rifle. Okay. All right. So after we've spawned both of these weapons, we want to actually go and make another thing in our sequence here. And we're going to drag down here. We're going to make another function. We can just do that now. And this is going to be hide/show weapon mesh. So both of our weapons will be snapped to our right hand at the same time, so we just want to make sure that we're hiding the non-equipped weapon and only showing the one that is definitely equipped. Alright, so first thing we'll do is we'll grab our primary and secondary weapons, and we're going to make array. Plug this in as a, I gotta add a pin first. Alright, so we're just gonna check here if these are valid before we run this, so we're gonna get a for each loop here. And then we're going to come and drop out of here and go is valid. Okay, and if they are valid, we need to check if it is our equipped weapon. So where is a equipped weapon? Right here. Get equipped weapon, and we're going to get an equals node, and we're going to check if, we'll just move this down here for simplicity's sake, if this array element equals our equipped weapon. Okay, and if it does, then we are going to show it. So we're going to get our equipped weapon once again, just to keep it nice and clean, and we're going to set actor hidden in game to false. And if you think we're done yet, you're not. We have to get from equipped weapon, get attached actors, which is going to be all of our meshes or all of our attachments that we have on our gun. Okay, and we're gonna make sure nothing's checked there, and we're gonna get another for each, and we're going to set them as hidden in game. So we're gonna set hidden in game, and they're gonna be false. Okay, all right, we are gonna copy this, and we're gonna paste it down here. Except this is not gonna be equipped weapon, because it's going to be the other weapons, which is this one, whatever the other one in the array is. Okay, and then we're just going to set these as opposite. So from false down here, we're going to set new hidden as true and new hidden as true. Okay, so hope that makes sense. We're going to get a for each loop. It's going to run the first one to check if it's valid. If it is valid, it's going to check, is this current weapon, the primary or the secondary, whichever one it's running, or is this the equipped weapon? And if it is not, it's going to hide it, and it's going to hide all the attached actors with it. And if it is, it's going to unhide it and unhide all the attachments with it. Okay, so we'll compile, and we'll go back to spawn, not spawn weapon, sorry, player defaults. And we're going to drag down here, and we're going to get the hide show weapon mesh function. Okay. All right, so right now we have our player defaults all done. We're going to spawn our primary weapon, set it as our equipped weapon, spawn our secondary, and then hide basically our secondary, because it's going to check and see that the primary is our equipped weapon, and then unhide it. So the last thing we need to do is we need to actually set those sockets on our first-person mesh. So we're going to just click on our first-person mesh, skeletal mesh asset. We're going to open that up and open up the skeletal mesh. All right, let's put an animation in here that is going to be a little bit more than what we're looking for here. So I believe we go up to preview animation, FB idle. Oh, no, not that one. Not that one. Oh, preview. Okay, I just got to change that. Rifle idle. That's what we want. Okay. Don't worry about the left hand. We only care about the right hand right now. Okay. Just so Z's knows. Okay. We're gonna find one called. It is down here. Grip points, which is on the middle finger, which is actually quite annoying. We're gonna do it on the hand, and the reason we're gonna do it on the hand is because when you try to animate the fingers later, like you're pretty restricted with the left or the middle finger, because it'll be mounted. It'll be snapped to there, so when you move it, it'll move the whole gun. So sometimes it looks a bit unnatural. I'm gonna just do it per the hand, and we'll just move the bone later. So let's add a socket, and this socket is gonna be all. This is gonna be all the socket names that you named in the gun data. So if you want, we can go to data and open up all of these. Oh, damn, we gotta open them all individually. I forgot. We're going to open up the AK. There's the AK socket. I'm going to copy that, go back here, and then rename this socket AK socket. We're going to add preview asset. AK, we'll do the skeletal mesh. Jesus, so big. So remember that we made the skeletal mesh itself smaller. So I'm wondering if we just change it here. We have not spawned a weapon. Oh, no, we did. It's just F and tiny, and that would be the result of our socket being 0.3 and 0.3. So disclaimer, so you guys don't waste a bunch of extra time, these do need to be reset back to 1, or you'll get the hilarious result that you see on screen. Yeah, obviously you'll need to shrink it so you can place it, but just make sure that all these sockets are placed back to 1, 1, and 1. Anyways, regardless, we're going to line this up here. So that's already looking pretty good, actually. Just rotate it like the one way. Okay, so you don't need to get the actual hands too close, because we can tweak it later when we're doing the animations. I mean, just get it in the ballpark. So let's get it here, and then we'll grab this, move this up and over, and grab the X, move that over, just like that. Yeah, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it's roughly in the right spot, then that'll do. It's going to look like ass when we actually spawn it into the game, which is fine. Because, again, we're going to fix it with animations. So that's I don't think it's getting any better than that. Great. Okay, so I will we'll do that, and basically do that for all of them now. So I'm going to do one more just to show you once again. We're going to add a socket, and this one is going to be the pistol socket. And right here, we will get rid of this attachment, and then we'll add our pistol in right there. And all right, we'll move this along here. We got to rotate it on the Y a little bit. If you want to change the camera speed, it's just up here on the corner, just so we can move in a bit closer and deal with this stuff. Something like that. I think we're going to rotate it again. Something like that. Looks super wrong, but it's fine. Okay, anyways, I'll let you guys, I'll meet you guys after you're done all this, and we'll just test everything out, and we'll see if it works. Disclaimer. make sure that you hit save on compile because you don't want this to happen to you. Let's test it out. This is gonna look like garbage. We're gonna hit play and it's gonna crash. Unreal is gonna crash. Let's see. I'm gonna be super upset because I have not saved and I made a new project, which means I didn't hit save on compile. I'm gonna be real fucking mad here in a second. Let's see what I lost. Alrighty, let's see what I lost. Okay, well there's no weapons. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, okay. Well, okay, here, how about this? Open up my player character. Because if I don't have any of these functions... Oof! Functions. Spawn weapon. Okay, spawn weapon's done. Okay, alright. Spawn weapon's done, so that's good. Hydro weapon mesh is not done, so I gotta redo that. What else do I have to redo? Only time will tell! Fuck! Come on, Unreal. First of all, save always. Fucking always. God damn it. I'll be back when I fixed my shit. Alright, welcome back. It wasn't so bad. I just had to redo the hide and show mesh function and then redo all the skeletal sockets. But this is the results. You freaking getting thrown around like a cartoon character. What's going on? Well, we forgot to turn off the collisions for all of the meshes when they attach to our player. So let's do that now. Anyways, we are going to open up our our weapon. Where is it? Why can't I find it now? Weapons, here we go. Meshes and attachments. We're going to go to the attachment class, and we're going to move this over here so you guys can see. Attachment mesh, we're going to set collision presets to no collision. Okay? The only one that I might in the future override is the barrel ones so that they don't clip into the wall, but we'll do that later. Let's see if that fixed anything, and if it... I can't move, so probably not. For some reason, our player character... Well, our player character is actually in the idle animation, so let's get him out of the idle animation. And he's stuck in there by default because that's how the first-person template actually is. So we got to just go into our first-person character. We will stop simulating. We're going to open up our mesh. We're going to go to our Anim class and open that up. So if we go to our, is it in this event? No, it's in our Anim graph. Anim graph. Okay, so we're gonna just delete this and delete this and delete this and just plug in rifle animations. Okay, so we can, so we got the base animations and then the rifle animations. So we should be that there. That's our default pose now. There it is. We got our weapon, so we can move. We can look around, but we can't move. I'm wondering, or hang on, let's just disable the simulate physics here and see what happens. There we go. Okay, that was the problem. So we're just gonna get rid of set simulate physics for some reason. We're just gonna collision enable for the capsule component, and sorry for the confusion there. Bit of a debug sesh there, but anyways, long story short, we have our weapon in our hands, and it spawned with all of the correct attachments in our hands as well. Okay, and yeah, these are gone because I lost them with my project, but you know. Anyways, in the next video, we are going to do switching the weapons in our hands, and then we're going to move on to dropping and picking up weapons from the ground. So we will deal with all that, and I will see you guys in the next video.